Hello and welcome to the new video. Welcome to my book corner. Today we're doing this in a different corner because I'm trying to figure out the best lighting situation. So we are moving around and trying different things. Today I actually wanted to show you all the books that I bought in April. Yesterday I sat down and I made a list of all the books that I bought in April and all the books that I've bought in May so far. And I thought, you know, I like watching those videos because sometimes you see books that other people buy that you wouldn't necessarily have bought yourself. So I am going to show you which books I have bought in April, and then we'll read some synopsis, book descriptions. But I will only read them for the books that probably maybe are not so well known. So as you can see from the thumbnail, I have quite a few of them. I actually didn't count them, so I might put a counter on the top here. We'll see. Yeah, let's start. I will start with all the hardbacks that I got. And the first hardback I wanted to share with you is Sociopath by Patrick Gain. It's a memoir, and I don't really know much about this book apart from the fact that it's a non-fiction book. And so from the back it says, meet Patrick Gain. She's an extraordinary character and a woman you will never forget, except she's not the fictional protagonist of a novel or a film. She's real, and her electrifying, really funny memoir will make you reconsider everything you thought you knew about bad, even sometimes criminal behavior. This is a mesmerizing tale of a life lived on the edge of the law, a redemptive love story, and a moving account of one woman's battle to understand herself, her diagnosis, and others like her. For anything like this, I always fancy reading. I read another book, Confessions of a I can't remember now. I'll put that book on the screen, and that was quite interesting to read as well. So when this came out, this is a very new book. I think that's been released not long ago, and I used to see posters on the underground, and I was like, straight away when I saw that in Costco, I knew I had to get it. The next book that I have here is How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. Kristen Perrin. And when I saw that book in Costco, I just had to have it because from the synopsis, it sounds like such a cool story. In 1965, Frances Adams was told by a fortune teller at the country fair that one day she'll be murdered. Frances spent the next 60 years trying to prevent the crime that would be her eventual demise. Of course, no one took her seriously until she was dead. When her great niece Annie arrives from London and discovers that Frances' worst fear has come true, Frances's will stipulates that the person who solves her murder will inherit her millions. Can Annie unravel the mystery and find justice for Frances, or will digging up the past lead her into the path of the killer? So it sounds like such a cool story. I think I had it wrong in my head first time. So it sounds like such a cool story to me. I've never read anything like this, so yeah, pick that up. The next hardback I got in April was Dune by Frank Herbert, and I think I mentioned it in one of my vlogs that me and Jason wanted to watch the movie, and the movie, we've watched the first 5 minutes and it looks so good. I thought I had to read the book first before I start watching the movie because I thought it was going to be a very good story. So as we can see, it's a pretty chunky book, and this is also on my May TBR, so I'm hoping that I will get to read that very soon. The next couple of books are by Hanna, and this is The God Killer and Sunbringer. I've actually read God Killer in April, and it was a library book. Since then, obviously, I had to return it, but because I enjoyed the book, I've ordered my own copy of that book, and I also followed up and I've ordered the second book of the series, which is Sunbringer, and that will be read soon as well. This basically continues the story of Kirsten and I believe Elo and the girl, and I'm excited to read this, so hopefully I will get to read that very, very soon. The next hardback of April is The Running Grave by Robert Galbraith. Yeah, I know it's not a new book, but it's a new book to me. This came out in 2023, so it's not a new book, but it's new to me. I know this is part of the series and it's not a first book in a series. It's, I think, book 8 or book 7 or something like that. It's basically a detective story, a thriller, detective crime or something like this. I don't know much about it. I just know that a few people that I follow that read books recommended this, and when that was on offer I decided to pick it up. Private detective Cormoran Strike is contacted by a worried father whose son Will has gone to join a religious cult in the depths of the Norfolk countryside. The Universal Humanitarian Church is on the surface a peaceable organization that campaigns for a better word, yet Strike discovers that beneath the surface there are deeply sinister undertones and unexplained deaths. In order to try to rescue Will, Strike's business partner Robin Ellicott decides to infiltrate the cult and travels to Norfolk to live incognito among them, but in doing so she is unprepared for the dangers that await her there or for the toll it will take on her. So it sounds very interesting. I always enjoy books like that. It's another big boy. This book, oh my days.
945 pages.
What have I done? I think I need to make better decisions in life. Okay, the last hardback of April is The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I know this came out in America. It came out under Heartless Hunter, under this title. So I was looking for Heartless Hunter everywhere and it wasn't available anywhere. And then turns out Crimson Moth and Heartless Hunter, I think they're the same one and the same thing. And this basically is a fantasy romance. It's enemies to lovers, a witch and a witch hunter. So yeah, picked it up. It was on offer. So there we go. I'm still kind of dipping my toes in fantasy. I'm more of a thriller, crime. You see all my Nesbo books behind me. I do like romance as well. I like sci-fi and I like horror, but fantasy is not something that I've reached for a lot in the past. So I'm dipping my toes and I'm trying the books that are being recommended by people, and this was one of them. And also I like the cover, so I just had to get it. I am back after a quick battery change, and now we start with the paperbacks, and I thought we'll start with sci-fi and crime and thriller and all that good stuff. Oh, this book I have purchased purely by the cover because I absolutely love the cover. I like hot pink, and when I saw that book on the shelf, I think it was in the works, it made its way to my basket, no questions asked. And the book I'm talking about is A Sweet Pea by C.J. Scouser. And this is a thriller, I believe, or mystery. What pulled me towards this book is the cover, but also when I picked it up, right on the cover it says, "The last person who called me Sweet Pea ended up dead." So I believe she is a killer and a murderer. This is about this girl, Rhiannon, and she works in an office, and you know, she seems like just your normal girl, but deep down, like she keeps plotting and she keeps planning. I think she basically gets pissed off by people. It mentions at the back that, you know, she's plotting a murder of the guy who mishandled her apples and a bad delivery driver and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a fun read. I don't think this is a very serious book. I think it's going to be one of those tongue-in-cheek books. So I might be wrong. I don't know. I might be wrong. But to me, this from reading the synopsis, this book seems like a tongue-in-cheek one. The next couple of books is by Andy Weir, and it is The Martian and Project Hail Mary. And I've actually read Project Hail Mary, and it was a library book and I had to give it back. But I liked that book so much, I had to have my own copy, and now I do. And also, if you ever manage to listen to the Audible or audiobook version of this book, I highly recommend it, because this is one of the best audiobooks I have ever listened to. Highly recommend it. If you can get your hands on it, please do listen to the audiobook, because the experience is out of this world. So that was a 5-star read for me, and decided to buy it. And then I also purchased The Martian by the same author. I've seen the movie recently, but I never read the book, and I want to read the book, because yeah, I'm one of those people. If there's a movie, I like to read a book before even I see the movie. But now it's too late, obviously, because Martian is an old movie. So I will read it at some point. I want to read it because I heard is good as well. The next couple of books, they were actually gifted to me by my friend Monica. Monica, if you're watching this, thank you very much. And the first book is called The Anomaly, and basically it's a book about this aeroplane. I think it's a French flight, and that plane takes off and something happens, and somewhere during that flight this plane duplicates itself. So for every passenger, now there's two. So if there was two Hannas, if there was one Hanna, now there's two Hannas. One Jason, now there's two Jasons. So basically everything doubles. And the thing is, the original plane of one of those planes lands in March, and the duplicate plane with the duplicate people lands in June. So there's like 3 months apart, and there's double of everyone. So now the question is, there's only one life for each person. So who is going to survive? The original person or the duplicate? So I think it's such a cool story. Yeah, like I said, this was gifted, so I didn't choose it, which sometimes is nice, because sometimes people give you stuff that you would not necessarily pick by yourself. And yeah, it could be a really fun book to read. The next book that was gifted to me by the same friend, Monica, is by James Patterson, and it's House of Wolves. And this, I don't really know what this is about. I think it's like a crime or thriller book as well. In the wolf family, the dynamics are simple. They eat you if you let them. Joe Wolf has raised his children to have the same cutthroat mentality that built his own California business empire: kill or be killed. When Joe's body is discovered adrift in the San Francisco Bay, his daughter Jenny finds herself head of the wolf empire. With her brothers trying to seize her newfound power and assets from under her, Jenny discovers that each of them has the means and motive to kill. Which of them is capable of murder? So I think it's going to be kind of like a thriller, good mystery to solve a book. Yeah, I'll read it when I feel like it. And then we have a book by the author that is the same nationality as myself, Polish author, and it is Andrzej Sapkowski, and this is The Witcher, book 1 of The Witcher, The Last Wish. And I picked it up purely because it was on the shelf next to The Martian and Project Hail Mary, and I felt a little bit patriotic. And I picked it up because I never read this, and this is such a big book. Everybody's reading it, and I feel like I should at least read book 1. So I'm gonna give it a go. I've seen the Netflix series and I enjoyed it. This is basically fantasy, so I will read it at some point. It's not a big book. The font is a little bit little. It's very, very little, but we'll manage. It's funny because I can see here that Okay, so there's this word here that I've seen. Where is it? So there is this name here. Since he is Polish, we obviously have different language. And we have slightly more letters than English alphabet, and we have more sounds than English alphabet. And I can see here they actually didn't change certain things, like there is, and I'm wondering how will English speaking people read this book. I mean, with their eyes obviously, but if they were to pronounce it, how they would pronounce it. So it says here, native of distant Burgundy and the wife of the knight Gelfrad of Stercha, and it's okay, I'll put that on the screen. So this word you pronounced Stercha. So yes, I'm just curious how many words like this was kept in the translation and not actually translate to something that would sound like English. I'm curious now. So yeah, that's The Witcher, The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. The next book is Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True, and this was picked based purely on recommendations from other YouTubers and other book talkers, and also it was on offer in Wax. I've actually never read anything by Lisa Jewell. I think she writes mystery, thriller, that kind of stuff. So I like, obviously, you could see I like books like that. So I'm excited to read this. Apparently this is about two women that share a birthday, and one kind of manages to wave her way into the other's life and family, and then sinister, weird things happen. So I'll read that. I'm not sure if I like this. I don't like when they do this little cut from the cover. It's not my favorite thing, and I see them do it quite often. But yeah, so that's Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True. The last thriller / scary book, or whatever this is, thriller mystery book I have here is Peter James, The House on Cold Hill. And apparently this is a kind of like a horror-ish book or scary book. And there's this family, they move into this house, and turns out weird things are starting to happen. Turns out they're not by themselves. So I'm not sure if it's a ghostly story or like, you know, someone lives there in this house in the attic or somewhere. By the way, like, I love horror books about ghosts and paranormal stuff. So if you have recommendations for books like that involves paranormal stuff, please let me know in the comments, because I will be checking them out. Someone recommended to me Into the Drowning Deep, and I've actually got this book on Kindle Unlimited. I still haven't read it yet because I'm reading something else. But yes, I ask you very nicely, please, 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 if you have any, or if you know of any good horror, paranormal horror with ghosts and creepy stuff like that, definitely let me know in the comments, because I would love to read those books. It's so hard to find a good scary book like that. So thanks for that in advance. Welcome back for the third part of this book haul, and this one is going to be dark romance. I will start with Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is the book that I picked up because everybody else was reading it, and I thought it was fantasy. I now read the description from the back, and I think it quite possibly could be a dark romance, so I'm listing it with that. Signa Farrell has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end, so something inheritance. And then, but Signa's best chance of uncovering the murder is an alliance with Death himself. And as the mystery unfurls, Signa realizes the growing connection may be more irresistible than she dared imagine. This is what makes me think this is a be a kind of a dark fantasy romance. So we'll see. I was this close to picking this book up for my May TBR because my color wheel decided I should pick a book with purple somewhere on the cover, and it had some purple, so yeah. But I then chose a different book which I now finished, so more about that later. Belladonna will be read next time. And now let's talk about a series of books. I have 5 of them. The Never After series by Emily McIntyre. And I had a trial of Kindle Unlimited, and I think they were included in Kindle Unlimited because one beautiful day they showed up on my Audible as available to download and listen. So because I didn't have anything else to listen to, I picked up Hooked. By the cover, I thought it was going to be some kind of like a mystery or thriller. Like I said, I rarely read descriptions from the back of the book. Sometimes I just go plainly by the cover. And it turned out it was a dark romance. And I got hooked. I got hooked. As you can see, I've even tabbed a few places, and then I read or listened to, so I've listened to Hooked, I've listened to Scott, and then I listened to Wretched. And listening to Wretched, I loved this book so much that I decided I want my own copy of this book. And when I went to Works, they didn't have just one single book, but they had a whole set, so I got myself a whole set. We have Hooked, Scarred, Wretched, Twisted and Crossed, Emily McIntyre, the Never After series. The last dark romance book I have here is Haunting Adeline. I love the fact that it's so floppy. Absolutely love that. It's big and floppy. I love paperbacks like that. And I had this on my read list for a long time, but then recently I started seeing people talk about this book more and more. And to be fair, I still don't know what this book is about. I always thought see, this is me. I always thought this is a story about a ghost because we have the word haunting. So I thought it was a story about ghosts and, paranormal stuff. And I think that's why I added this to my TBR. But I think I could be wrong. And I think this is a dark romance. This is what people are saying. So we shall see. There will be a time when I'll be reading this. I'm excited. I think I'm in my romance and sci-fi era now. Welcome to part 4 of this video, and this part will be romance books that I purchased in April. I will start with the series that I am so behind with because everybody finished reading that already. There's a few stragglers reading those books still, and I am one of the stragglers, and this is Lucy's Score. And we have this is the first one. Things We Never Got Over, Things We Hide from the Light, and Things We Left Behind. So I got them in Costco. They were on a really good price in Costco. I think on Amazon, the whole book set, it came with this kind of like a paper holder. So the whole book set on Amazon, I think it was £25, and Costco was selling this box set for £12.99. So it's pretty much half price. So when they were on offer, I picked them up, and yeah. So it's a romance. Everybody knows that, I think. I am not even going to read the descriptions because we probably all know what these books are about. But I love the colors of the covers. They're just so freaking nice. I love them. The next book that I have, I actually just finished reading it this morning, is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I've read the Dreamland Billionaire series and now my daughter is reading them, and I started on Lakefront Billionaires, and this is book 1 in a series, and this is a story of Julian and Dahlia, and we kind of follow their relationship. Such a quick read and such a good vibe of the book. I absolutely loved it, and it was the book that I picked from the color wheel. So the color wheel picked the purple color for me, and then I had to choose a color on the cover. I'll link the video in the cards or in the description box below, so you can check that out as well. But yeah, that was part of my May TBR, and I've read it already, and it was a quick read. So really fun book. I've already ordered a book 2, which I think comes out in June in the UK at least. The next romance that I purchased in April is Hardbacks by Colleen Hoover. I bought this because that was on offer in the works. I think it was like £3.50 or something like that, so I picked it up. And I know with Colleen Hoover, it's such a hit and miss sometimes. There are books she writes that are really good and I really enjoy them, but there are books that are absolutely crap, let's just say. And I've recently read two of her books that I liked. It was Regretting You and Reminders of Him, and I liked them, and you know, I'll give this one a go. Never Never was a little bit rubbish. I do not recommend that book, but you know, hopefully this one will be better. And if not, it's just one of those books that was cheap, and for me it was like, it's worth a try. The last 2 books that I have is by Laura Noling, and this is this duology, If He Had Been With Me and If Only I Had Told Her. So basically, from what I know, this is the same story told by a woman and a man, or one is from the point of view of a woman and one from the point of view of a man, and basically it's 2 sides of the same story. I think it's interesting. I like reading books like this, and we shall see. So yes, another romance. I enjoy them. I think they are so easy to read and so enjoyable, some of them at least. And yeah, so these will be read probably back to back at some point when I feel like it. That's it. That's all the books that I got in April. Let me know if you've read any of them. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought of them. And don't forget, if you have any good paranormal horror books to recommend, please let me know in the comment. I will be eternally grateful to you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like, because that really helps me out, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. That really helps me out. Thank you very much for your time. I wish you a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you in my next one.
When we wake,
bye!
hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun.